Hello, my astrology friends and family. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial. And today I'm here with one incredible esoteric master, astrologer, a teacher of mine as well, very famous in Bulgaria, the astrologer Filipov. And he will be telling us, and he's been before on this program, and people are like, when is he coming back? We want to hear more because he knows very deep esoteric astrology and knowledge. It's not just astrology. And today, Filip is here to share with us a very important astrological event. Hello, Filip.
Hello, Lada. I'm so glad that I meet you and all your friends from all over the world. This channel that you have is one of the great channels of astrology, high level of astrology, deep level of astrology, and I'm so glad that you promote all these esoteric levels of spiritual science, which is the oldest spiritual science of humankind. And today I just wish to present to you something super important, which happened in our life one time for whole life. This is unique, super close coming of Jupiter, which is exactly happened today on 26th September, very close to the new moon. And this is unique phenomena because the last time when it's happened represent very important two models in the world, which very interestingly, one of them is repeating it already, and it's here, but the second one is not happened, and it is possible this model to repeat again. What about is the situation for what I spoke? Now, the idea here is that the last time when Jupiter was so close to Earth, uh, this was the period of time when the Caribbean crisis happened between United States and Russia. Um,
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
exactly, and this is happening in 1962 October, if I remember. But well, the next year was exactly super close position of Jupiter, and in this period, around plus minus 1 year, around 1963, Jupiter was very specially connected with Earth. And in this situation, the year before the super close position was the Cuban crisis, which humankind was very, very close to total destruction, and hopefully the great savior, the cosmic protector of solar system, the divine consciousness of Jupiter, which is very connected with one high level angelic hierarchy, which we in esoteric Christianity and astrology we called lords, and these beings are the consciousness of planets and stars. And this great being, which is the consciousness of Jupiter, is how to say, watch it through the time from all humankind. We call them in other cultures like antiquity cultures like Zeus, like Marduk, or other great names. But the most important is that the consciousness of Jupiter is practically so advanced and so deeply connected with humankind, because Master Peter Dunn, the creator of our school, uh, from which you are part, astrological school I speak, and esoteric school, he explained that on Jupiter we have a very advanced connection with this planet, because in Jupiter we have another humankind which is not developed on physical reality like ours, but on other level, and etheric maybe or astral level. And this humankind is deeply developed in spiritually and religious topics. And because of this connection, especially with the light beings, the Christ initiators of humankind on Jupiter, we have this saving, this protection, this blessings, and that's why we have this amazingly good connection with Jupiter in our horoscope. The Jupiter is the most important good planet in one horoscope. You know, of course, from ancient tradition. And that's why Jupiter come again. And I think, like last time, he wished to save humankind again. This is the most important situation. And that's why we organize one spiritual method, which Master Petrodonov gave to us like an idea, especially in esoteric point of view, in these divine moments of humankind and development of the cosmos. Um, we should work spiritually. We should organize collective prayer for saving humankind, because you see what's happening very close, several hundred kilometers from Bulgaria, uh, very close to real war mobilization, partial in Russia. This will be millions of people in one moment against another millions of people. Putin may use the vacuum bombs or atomic bombs, and if this happens, this will be the end of our civilization. And that's why all people that wish to be in good connection with spiritual world, to help to humankind to survive, to be part of Christ's impulse, which is now realized like a second coming into astral world with etheric cloths, how it's written in esoteric tradition of esoteric Christianity. We may be together in one collective meditation and prayer for peace and harmony between nations. And with this, we may help humankind in this super important moment. And this is the first.
When exactly should
This happened, the most how to say close position is today. Today, and practically plus minus 3 days will be the most powerful situation in cosmos. And the most interesting thing, let I prepare something like a presentation to you, because I just published yesterday, before the most powerful moment, one important presentation, in which presentation I explain unique information which happening just now. And people may see what's happening together with this, which is very interesting situation. Let I share the screen. Only 1 second. Is it possible to give me a ability to share?
So while you're sharing, I want to just summarize.
Yes.
Jupiter is
Okay,
the
no
closest
problem.
it has been to the Earth right now since
Yes.
the Cuban Missile Crisis. It saved us then, and we're praying and we're hoping that's what is happening. The same, like that it's
The
gonna avert.
humankind to be saved.
Yes,
Yes.
and that is gonna avert a disaster.
Yes, I show now one video clip which represents the situation. I will make this video in English too, for all of your people and foreigner countries and so on. Here I represent this special situation which happened now. And the whole idea here is that this super close position is absolute unique, and we may watch Jupiter now on the sky like a super bright star. And this super bright star is with only simple binoculars. You may see the Jupiter like a planetarian body. You may see the situation, what's happening with the satellites. But the most important thing that I wish to represent now is that in these days in cosmos is realized something enormously important with Jupiter again. This is the pentagram. Full pentagram is organized between several planets. Jupiter, Mars, Pluto, Ceres, which is now planet 2, into the level of Pluto.
It's been made a planet? Wow.
A pentagram is realized, Lada, and now is already working with the south node, Pluto, Ceres, Jupiter, and Mars. And because Ceres is planet dwarf from point of view of modern astronomy, together with Pluto and Eris, we should work in astrology with Ceres and Eris, because they are now on the level of Pluto. And every astrologer knows that if we do not work with Pluto, this will be major error. And that's why we should work with Ceres and Eris in modern astrology, of course, on the basis of classical astrology. And if we use Ceres, Pluto, and South Node, there will be one full pentagram together with Jupiter and Mars. And these full figures, geometrical figures which appear in the sky, the orbises is a little bit bigger. Normally, the orbises between for the quintiles are 2, 3, around 2 degrees is the normal, but now the orbits have ability to be 3 or 4 degrees. And most of the planets here are with very close to the exactness quintile situation. Only between Pluto and Jupiter, the connection is around 3, 4 degrees, which is not so big problem. And this exact figure will happen when the moon conjunction with the south node. And this is super interesting situation. Why? Because simple aspects in astrology, like a connection between Jupiter and Mars, for example, or moon and Jupiter, for example, these are connection between 2 points. But when in the horoscope is realized one geometrical figure, this geometrical figure is much more powerful than one simple aspect. That's why I discovered this situation in my practice when I saw how tau squares, the right triangles, very often realized big catastrophes, big incidents, big tragedies with people. And I saw several people how they die on the tau squares configurations. And that's why I decided to organize one publicly available instrument, like a software which have ability to measure this into every horoscopes, and thousands people together to have ability to access this information. And now I produce this instrument not only for tau squares, but around 200 geometrical figures. And when in cosmos is realized pentagram, which is super important from the esoteric point of view, the pentagram from divine point of view is given to us by Christ directly, because the pentagram is the symbol of the divine form of a human being. And Master Peter Dunov explained to us that the pentagram is practically the path of the highly evolved beings on earth, which we call disciples. These are the people which look to the life like a spiritual school in which they developed and practicing virtues, which Christ gave to us to develop. And with this attitude to life like a spiritual school, we have ability to realize our divine form, our divine evolution. And Master Peter Dunov gave to us this idea with this pentagram, which he explained like 5 divine principle of Christ. And these divine principles are the divine truth, the divine justice, the divine love, the divine wisdom, and divine virtue. And these lines are realized exactly like a pentagram with the top on the with the peak of the pentagram on the top. And this is the situation now with Jupiter. And Jupiter, together with these 5 or 6 factors in the cosmos, realize this form. And Jupiter toward Moon is realized the path of the truth. Then the Moon node, which connected is connected with what we have done into the past, and how this karmic impulse influence our presence, combine with moon after 1 or 2 days. And this impulse practically, when it's connected to the Mars, is realized the justice. The justice is super important from karmic point of view in our life, because the divine justice organize our karmic going through our life. And this is in this pentagram now is realized by a beam which is connected between moon, south node, and Mars. And connection between Mars and Pluto is super important now, because this connection into original figure that Master Petr Donov gave to us is the connection of love, the divine love. But connection between Mars and Pluto is very problematic, principally. And this is the connection which have ability, if it's disharmonic, to realize conflicts, aggression, war, and crimes. But when it's connected in pentagram like this means exactly that the divine love of God have ability to remove, to liquidate this destructive impulses of the war that is happening now into our planet. That's why the divine love here into this being between Mars and Pluto have ability to soften the situation of the humankind today, and to make our connection with God closer, because God of love, Christ, is not God of war. Christ do not wish this war at all. Christ wish we to evolve spiritually, to become advanced beings of love and freedom. And because of this situation, we should remove this aggression from ourselves. Firstly, this is the most important if we are the disciples in this school of life. And then we should help to other people to become more advanced and to remove their aggression too. Exactly this connection, this benevolent and beautiful connection between Mars, Pluto, and Jupiter, especially, and all other two factors, helping this aggression to be removed from personal life and from global life of humankind. And then Pluto connects Ceres into the beam of wisdom, of divine wisdom. And this is especially important for relationships of people, because Ceres, like planet dwarf in our solar system, and important planets which work for family life, from relationship in our social life on the level of family, our karma on the level of family, and how we work with nature, with abundance that nature gives to us. And all these things are connected with Ceres. And when Pluto connects with Ceres into the beam of pentagram, which is the wisdom, this means that we should use this super problematic moment into the life of humankind uh, to grow our wisdom, and to grow our wisdom into the relationship, into the family, into the relationship between us and living nature, uh, mindful living nature, how Master Petr Donov explained to us. And this is important moment, because here into the pentagram is the tree of life with the 12 fruits, which we realize like 12 divine virtues of the 12 zodiacs from the zodiac. And that's why when we realize this beam between Pluto and Ceres in nowadays, we work for these 12 virtues of the tree of life. And the last connection is between Ceres and Jupiter, and this realized the divine virtue. And this is exactly very important situation, because when we practice in our social life the ideas of advanced spiritual world from which astrology is part, we practice exactly virtues. And the idea here is that our horoscope is something which we have ability to advance, because this is not a fatalistic system. We are beings which we have freedom, and when we grow spiritually, we have ability to make our horoscope better and better, to work harmoniously and more in this direction. And the key for this transformation are the virtues. When we practice virtues in our life by the divine teachings of humankind, which is connected together into the divine impulse of Christ, which is above all religions. And why? Because Christ is the consciousness of the Son, and Christ personally created all religions with his disciples when he sent to the earth all important spiritual teachers, which create all different religions on earth. And practically, when Christ came to us, this is one unificational impulse which connect all spiritual traditions and religions into one impulse of the Son consciousness, Christ. And this is super important because Jupiter now, uh, how I explain, is one planet which have humankind, which work on the religious level, on spiritual level. And if we are advanced being on Earth, we will be connected with this Jupiter advanced beings, and we will work for unification of all human souls into one spiritual impulse, the impulse of Christ, the consciousness of the Son. And when we realize this, the Jupiter influence in our horoscope become super powerful and blessing to our life. And the idea here is, when we practice virtues in our life in this last beam, in the pentagram, we practically develop our high level of the horoscope. Our horoscope become much more thinner, and some of the problematical connections in our horoscope have ability to be clean, to be become softened, to be karmically transformed, and with this we receive our freedom in God. And this is exactly the concept which the pentagram gives to us, because pentagram, like a symbol in ancient Pythagorean school of white brotherhood, of the light, because this brotherhoods of divine light and consciousness was developed in many cultures. This was developed by Zarathustra in Persia, by Pythagoras in antiquity times, by Hermes, by Osiris time in Egypt, and many other great spiritual teachers.
It's the
And
same impulse. It's the same impulse and the same. They were preparing for the Christ impulse.
exactly, and develop the Christ impulse into our time. For example, Christian Rosenkreuz, which is the beloved disciple of Christ, which was Apostle John, the only one who was staying together with him to the crucifixion. He, in next reincarnation, become Christian Rosenkreuz, and he developed esoteric tradition of and high developing of spirituality in Europe. And this is one of the great teachers who inspired directly Rudolf Steiner. And that's why a very small amount of people knows that Christian Rosenkreuz was born in Qatar family. And Qatars are directly connected, and they come directly from Bogomilian tradition, which coming from Bulgaria. And why we speak now about this? Because this old tradition in ancient time, especially, for example, Pythagoras, who was great astrologer and mathematician, he used the pentagram like a divine symbol of human form. This is really the nice normal pentagram, which is exactly how Leonardo da Vinci make his picture, like a divine form of human, a Vitruvian man, which represent the true form of human. This is the normal, true divine pentagram, which have the top, the peak of the figure on the top. This represent the human form. And when it is without circle, and when it is the top is down, this is not the human form, but this is the symbol, how Master Peter Donov explained to us, this is the symbol of the fallen man. And then the symbol become not harmonious and connected with the dark forces.
Yeah,
And
that's why
that,
Satanists use the reverse.
yes, exactly, because this is symbol of the fallen man.
Mhm.
And I speak when the pentagram, the top is down. Now we do not see this. We see normal divine pentagram with the top on exactly where it should be for the explanation of true virtues and divine principles of human being, which is deeply connected with the solar consciousness, which was named into many thousands of years by different way, but in our time we call this cosmic consciousness of sun Christ. Zarathustra make him like a Hura Mazda. In Egypt, they called him Osiris, but this is not important. We speak of about the ich, the I, the self, the azat. I speak with different languages because I wish to explain this principle. The self and consciousness, the divine consciousness of our star, which make impulse for development of all humankinds of all planets on our solar system. Each planet have humankind, and we, like astrologers, in these divine moments, should work with the divine, super high level initiators in one planet, for example, Jupiter. The Jupiter divine developed beings, which develop there in Jupiter conditions, they wish to help us. They wish to organize our life to become more spiritual, more well realized in social life. We should work with Jupiter to understand the language of angelic hierarchies, like exactly the esoteric tradition of astrology, which we received from Rudolf Steiner. We understand that after the going away from this reincarnation, we will grow like souls in our solar system, and when we reach the Jupiter sphere, we will be impulsed by Jupiter beings and angelic hierarchy there to learn the not only the language which happened in Mars sphere, but to understand the consciousness and the thought uh, of these great advanced beings in which we live like a small cells, like a small monads, how Leibniz philosopher explained in his philosophical theory. We are cells of much greater beings. In our situation, we are small cells of thought of the in the organism of Earth, and the Earth is only one cell into the organism of the galaxy. And with this perspective that we get from Master Petrodonov for our advancement into the cosmic consciousness, which is super connected with astrology, but not simple astrology, not involutionary astrology, which is connected with the past of humankind, but the evolutional astrology, which is deeply connected with the consciousness of the sun. Then we have ability to harmonize our horoscope. Then we have ability to realize the alchemy, astrological alchemy in our horoscope. And when I explain these things to my disciples in the seminars, which I create every Saturday, and all your people which listen may come part of from these seminars, we may organize together something if you wish. Uh, I dare explain something important, that nowadays astrology renovate the ancient tradition of astrology, which was three-dimensional. Now in our seminars, I explain detailistically each sentence from the Liber Hermetis book of Hermes, and I show to all people how the understanding of this book without very well done three-dimensional horoscope, it is not possible at all to understand what is written there. And this is the first step, to work with three-dimensional astrology. But in modern times,
And by the way, I will put a link below in the videos for anyone
yes, no
who's
problem.
interested, because Filip demonstrated a three-dimensional horoscope. A few months ago, he read my horoscope, how it's not like, oh, your ascendant is in Virgo, whatever. It's your ascendant, there are 5 constellations on the horizon when you are rising, and that's all the constellations included, everything. And it's fascinating. I'll put this link for that video, because if anyone is interested to see the new astrology that
Exactly. If you wish, I just represent the new version of the three-dimensional software, because we work constantly to make these updates in deep details. And I will show now the most important new things which happen now, only to prepare the software.
Sure.
Okay, and let I visualize the thing only a second, because we make major update of the software, and I am sure that all astrologers will like this very, very much,
And
because this is
it's a
something.
free software, isn't it?
Yes, what?
It's free software. People
Yes, this
get.
whole three-dimensional thing is freely accessible in astraman.com, which is one software, not only website, but software, which we developed here with a whole group of and team of programists. This was the, how to say, the new version, which I make in 1996, three-dimensional software series, and we just made it for the first time online. And let I show you the new version, which is super important to all friends of astrology. You may see here the spherical horoscope now, but when you zoom inside, you may see what's happening exactly in this situation. And the most important thing is that you may choose tropical or Sumerian zodiac. We may put here in English.
Yeah, change it.
Yes. And when it's in English, you may change tropical or Sumerian. And you may see here, if we choose the original zodiac, the sidereal zodiac, you may see that Capricorn zodiac is connected with Capricorn. Aquarius is connected with Aquarius. But when you click on tropical, you see that in Fische, in Pisces zodiac, it is only one small part of Pisces in the sky. Into the division of Pisces, which is the constellation Pisces, now is the zodiac Aries, and nothing from the constellation Aries. And these differences and this working together with two zodiacs, tropical and sidereal, is super important from perspective the original tradition of astrology.
So you do use the tropical as well.
Yes, I use
Combine. Can
both
you
of
give
the
me an
zodiac.
example how you merge the meaning? Say Pluto is currently in Capricorn, sidereally, but very soon it will be tropically in Aquarius and sidereally in Capricorn. What do
Okay,
you?
let we choose one planet which is very important now. Look, this is the situation of Mars between the horns of
Wow.
Taurus. This is super powerful influence which happened now. And this super powerful influence, if we watch simple horoscope, you will see only one, how to say, Mars in
Gemini.
twins. And you will interpretate Mars in twins like a will, which is realized into social contacts, in communications, some aggression between the people in communicative and social point of view. You will speak about how, for example, some criminal people will make a problems between brothers. This is the simple interpretation, and you may speak
Neighboring
about Mars
nations,
in twin
rather, yeah.
several hours to find different meanings. But all these things is practically only the social, psychological realization of Mars and its energy now.
So it's more
Because
like the external expression, the more
exactly,
external, while the deep reason behind it
is practically Taurus position of the Mars. And not only this, when we merge the situation now, we should say this. The deep archetypical level is not realized only by this combination Mars in Taurus, but you should say Mars is not in Taurus only, but now Mars is in the holy place of Taurus, which is the horn between the horns of Taurus, which is the sacred place of goddesses, the divine woman archetype into the cosmos. This is the holy place of Hathor. This is the holy place of Isis in Egypt tradition. And from this perspective, when we have Mars in the holy womanhood place, this is important moment of connection between manhood energy, the will of manhood energy, into the sacred place and womb of cosmic woman, because the horns of Taurus form something like a womb, the cosmic womb, which is the sacred place of the divine womanhood principle. And this is
exactly what's happening in Iran. This woman was attacked
exactly
during the jihad.
exactly
Like a war is happening.
On the social outer level, we see one fighting because one aggression, one killing, which make problem to society. This is Mars into the third solar sector, which we may say that this is connected with twin, but the best position is to say this is the solar third sector. And this is important part from the meteorological zodiac, which we call tropical zodiac. And this is the outer situation. But the deeper situation, the reason why this happened, why? Because some aggression, some conflict was realized toward womanhood. Understand me? Why toward womanhood? Because Mars now is into the place of the divine woman, the cosmic woman, which was very well represented in ancient astrology of Egypt, like the place of the mother goddess Isis and the lover goddess Hathor. And the best realization of this situation of Mars in between the horns of Taurus is the divine cosmical principle of the man to express love and how to say the divine sexuality toward cosmic principle of the womanhood in all humankind. But humankind should work with this divine energy consciously, and because not enough people practice the divine tradition, that's why they do not realize the divine idea of this place, but they realize the ugly, the destructive, the killing, the criminal situation toward womanhood of one nice, beautiful woman in Iran, in ancient Persia, connected country, which is super astrologically developed. And because they do not practice this nowadays so much, they realize the conflict, the killing, the criminal situation. And you see now how the both zodiac works. The tropical zodiac show what's happening in society on psychological level, but the inner, the sidereal zodiac, the cosmic real position, shows the reason, the meaning, the archetypical level, why this happened.
So could we say now with the escalation tension in two brotherhood nations, Russia and Ukraine, which we're seeing with Mars like in Gemini, tropically, but the deeper reason is Taurus. What could it be?
Exactly.
Resources,
the deeper reason,
money.
the deeper reasons are the sources of the nature. Practically, this war is created because they fight for the very fertile soil that is there. They fight for the earth and production levels, which is super important for the future development of Russia. And they strategically saw that this place is deeply connected with the Russian traditions. There are a lot of people which are for Russia there, and that's why they wish to include this in their part of in their territory. But practically, the reason of all this war was one resources war. And this is the deeper level. On the next level is this conflict between the United States and Russia, which United States inspire Ukraine situation too much, and many other things. But this is totally other topic. Now I wish to represent to you that in this software you have not only the zodiacal division, but you have other divisions which we may use in astrology, the divisions of halves, the decanads. You may see the division of quarters, the terms, which is very popular and usable division. And let we switch to original zodiac to see the situation. Then we have one very special division, which is the division of 5 degrees, which is deeply connected with Kabbalistic tradition, and I will explain these details in future seminars. The 7th, which is given the division by the anthroposophy and high level of spiritual astrology. Then the Categoria division, which is super important for us, like astrologers, and then the division of each degree. And I make the things like this to every division to be visible and to understand which degree, which planet rules, or which division is ruled by which planet. This is the first important situation, but the most important situation is that we do not use only the zodiac of antiquity, which is known, and we use this in classical and ancient astrology, but you may use the Egypt astrological concept, which come directly from Temple of Dendera. I use the images from Dendera zodiac, and the zodiac there are two, one circular and now one linear, and I use both of these zodiacs to create this three-dimensional point of view from ancient Egypt time. And we have the new version. The new version have the Sumerian constellation Lada. Do you listen? Do you see this situation?
Yes.
And you may see here the constellation that was used in Babylon in Akkadian time. You may see the constellation which is totally new from astrological point of view, and it is visible for the first time in three-dimensional form. And the idea here, for example, this constellation here, Oannes, is represented for the first time from me like a renovation, because Oannes is especially important constellation which is connected with the southern fish. And you may see here this renovation of ancient Babylonian and Sumerian and Akkadian astrology for the first time. And why this being is super important? Because this being was priest to Enki. Enki is represented here, the constellation of Aquarius, and the priest of him, Oannes, practically is the representation of this priest, which have these cloths of fish, which tradition continues till nowadays in Catholic Pope dresses and cloths, and he bring here this special symbol of pineal gland, the centrum of brain, with this special symbol that he bring, and we see that this is exactly the king's star, Fomalhaut. This is the first time when we renovate the original tradition about Oannes like a constellation. And this was not only one southern fish, but fish was only the head of this great being, which we know from the ancient astrological tradition, that this being come through the ocean, appear to humankind, and teach humankind in mathematics, in architecture, in agriculture, in art, in science, in astrology. He teach humankind to become civilized. And this is one being which came from ocean, speak to the humankind. He was like a fish-like looking, and then in the night he returns into the ocean. This is explained into the ancient tradition that is come directly from Sumerian time, and this constellation is exactly connected with Oannes, and this is something absolutely new. And when you see Enki, you should see where is Enlil, the brother of Enki, and Enlil here is exactly this constellation which we knows like Bootes in modern astrology, but we have exact place of other great Sumerian god. And this is super important from astrological perspective to know exactly where are the ancient visions from of Sumerian, Babylonian time, and Akkadian time for the constellations. And with this three-dimensional software, we have ability to practice the real tradition of ancients for the first time, because they practice this real three-dimensional astrology in their time, because they use this term paranatelonta, to rise together. And I show how your ascendant is realized by this line, which come from the north, going through the east to the south. All this line is the cuspid, the beginning of your three-dimensional first house.
So
And if
all the constellations there describe your ascendant, basically.
exactly your
Your
how I called it
personality.
your cosmic name,
Your
which is written on the sky through the hieroglyphs of the constellations. And this is the three-dimensional perspective. With only with this perspective we have the ability to understand Liber Hermetis, and I represent this very well in my seminars. But the most important here is when we move this three-dimensional horoscope into time, the fourth dimension, we get four-dimensional horoscope, Lada. And practically primary directions, which we practice very well in our school of astrology, because our friend and helper, how to say, in the path of astrology, and which teach a lot of people in on Earth. Um, one moment only, that I have one technical problem. 1 second.
Okay. Just a second, guys. Very fascinating, by the way.
I'm here.
Okay.
And because of the fact that Rumenkolev made the renovation of original tradition of primary direction, it's like a concept of Placidus, Ptolemy, and very important medieval astrologers. And this tradition was totally destroyed by the events of Second World War and communists and so on. He renovated this tradition for the first time, and I was a living disciple of him in 1992. I start to learn primary direction there, and slowly I developed one new method, which is called, in this time I didn't know that this is ancient method, but how to say, I practice like my method. And this method is the method of primary direction, which we know from the sources is called the primary direction of Hermes by culmination. And this method of primary direction is only available in astroman.com, and unfortunately it's not available in any other software. And I wish to explain that all these primary directions are practically four-dimensional horoscope, because we move this three-dimensional sphere not only in space, but we move it in time. And when we move this sphere in time, we realize the four-dimensional horoscope.
That's when predictions happen.
Exactly. But this is not the end. we have ability to practice the fifth dimensional astrology, Lada. And I explain this in deep details in my seminars. Why? Because, dear friends of astrology, when you are born and you have one horoscope, this horoscope is not fatalistic. It's something which represents the divine will for your life. But divine creates you with freedom. Why? Because we are fractal image of the divine consciousness, of the divine being. And this fractal image that we are practically in us is the seed, the impulse of freedom, because God is free. That's why we are free too. But we should develop our freedom. And this freedom development is realized through our spiritual life with practicing the divine virtues that God gives to us. And each time when you realize one virtue in your life, in exactly problematic situation in which you have choice to choose the dark side or the light side, and if you choose the light side and you practice virtue, you transform your horoscope in fifth dimensions, because you go out from space and time and you remove the karmic problem in deep time situations where you are in one past reincarnation, you made some error. This error realized the negative karma in this reincarnation, for example. But if you wish to remove this karma, you should practice astrology alchemically into the fifth dimension.
Can you
Why?
give me an example of one such life situation?
Exactly.
Simple example.
For example, what was spoke just now, this wonderful woman which was killed only because she had beautiful hair. This is super problematic social and personal karma to all these people that make this. This is not the original tradition of Mohammed. This is not Musulmanic tradition. The original tradition of Mohammed is sacred attitude to all beings. And that's why to kill one woman because she is beautiful and she have this beautiful hair and she do not make what police wish from her, the moral police. This is super aggressive social karma, and this is personal karma to all these people which make this killing. Okay, we have one problematic karmic situation which developed immediately like a karmical process into all people which are connected karmically with this. First, with the whole country, which create this. Second, all these religion people which create this, they have very big social and I'd say religious karma. This is some new point of view. And concretely, the people which make this problem, they have personal karma. Okay, after some years, after one reincarnation, maybe maximum 4 reincarnation. Why? Because the tradition of esoteric Christianity says the negative karma should be cleaned, should be liquidated maximum till the 4th reincarnation, not anymore. If you have negative karma, you should liquidate it in this reincarnation, the next, the 3rd, or the 4th. This is the maximum. In the 5th, you should be clean from this negative karma. This is the divine karmic filter. For the positive karma, we do not have this filter. One good doings before 10 reincarnation have ability to influence this reincarnation and hundreds of reincarnation in the future. That's why the divine with this special filter to a negative karma and how to say not making problem to the positive karma into the future of humankind, develop us and evolve us. But what we will do with this negative people which have this negative karma personally, killing woman because of her beautiness, after 2-3 reincarnations, they appear you should know this, in woman body. They will be, the killers will be born in woman body. This is the first. The second, they should make birth of a child which is karmically connected with this process, or the same person. This is second karma. But these people which are advanced spiritually, I hope they have ability to become this rapidly. They have ability to liquidate this karma without the simple cycle of karma. They have ability to grow in their consciousness, to serve to humankind, especially to womanhood. They to practice the divine attitude to the cosmic woman, and especially to all women in physical reality. And when they do this sacred attitude and they practice this virtue of sacred attitude toward womanhood, they have ability to remove this karma from themselves. Why? Because their spirit and soul practice this virtue, and with this virtue they go beyond the time and space. They have ability to return in time and to liquidate this negative karma from the karmic record of their horoscope. And with this example, you may understand how one simple person, if this he or she become spiritually advanced, these beings, these human souls, have ability to practice the divine virtues in their life, to become spiritually advanced with this. And with this process, they have ability to go beyond the third dimensional horoscope of them, the fourth dimensional horoscope of their primary directions. They have ability to go beyond the time and space and to liquidate the negative karma from the past through this practicing of the divine virtue. That's why this is one fifth dimensional process, which going beyond the time and space. And very importantly, these ideas like physics, geometry, love, and divine spiritual concepts are very well explained into the great film Interstellar. And that's why you may see there the fifth dimensional point of view realized like a film. But we practice now fifth dimensional astrology in our esoteric school, Lada. And you are apart from this because you very well work to so many people to understand this concept. And with this idea, let I return to about Jupiter, the situation, only to stop the sharing and to make correct visualization. Only 1 second.
I do hope in the future prisons will not be where people are punished, but where people are explained spiritually how they can correct that karma with an astrologer, and hopefully they work on that. And how can you serve now whoever this part of society that you harmed? And
so well spoken by you, dear Lada. This is the best idea for the future. And I should explain the detail here that when Jupiter formed in this super close position, this pentagram in the sky, this is one divine moment of human history where we, conscious beings, that we understand life like a spiritual path for practicing virtues, we have ability to advance in this, to develop in this, to help each other, to grow our consciousness, to connect ourselves with the Jupiter high initiators. And with this, to grow humankind consciousness at all, like a cosmic organism of humankind, and to help humankind to free itself from wars, crimes, and all this mass genocides like pandemic and so on. And this is super important moment. But just before you call me and we connect, I discovered some important other model. Practically, the Caribbean crisis was happening in October 1962. The closest position in this period of time was of Jupiter was 1963 October, into the same period of time, another great happened. Kennedy was killed.
Oh, why was that great?
Hmm?
Why was that great?
Because we may see here, okay, Kennedy was born here, was assassinated in November 63. The close connection with Jupiter was in October 63. And if this model is repeated again, this means that we live in a situation where there is a very, very dangerous situation to one political leader.
Oh, wow.
And I really hope not this process to be repeated, because if it's repeated in this very dangerous situation in humankind, this will be really very, very dangerous for humankind, because the death of Kennedy was the tragedy of all humankind. This person personally saved humankind. Personally, he stopped the Cuban crisis because his advanced moral level. And that's why the negative forces kill him, because he saved humankind, and for many other reasons. This is only one of the top reasons.
He
The
was
reasons are
against the deep
several.
state, and he was trying to dismantle the Fed, the Federal Reserve.
Exactly. The situation is so deep that I do not wish to discuss this now.
So you're trying to say now that Jupiter is so close to the Earth, there'll be a huge impulse of goodness. Someone can do something, but because of that, dark forces can try and like stifle that impulse with a very extreme action.
Exactly. And this is the prognosis that I made in this seminar, that, okay, we have a situation where when Jupiter was so close, we were saved from total destruction, annihilation, nuclear annihilation in Cuban crisis. But the exact moment of close position, plus minus 1 month, practically is the moment when one of the greatest leaders of humankind, JF Kennedy, was killed. And I really hope the divine forces to help to humankind this model not to be repeated in this great situation. And why this happened? Because when Jupiter comes so close, then he go away. Understand me? And this going away of Jupiter to be so close have ability to be interpreted like one political leader, Jupiter, to going away. Understand? And this will happen maybe around 1 to 2 months after this end of October. And I really pray to God this model to be softened and not to be realized. But
and
my dear Lada,
the pentagram, maybe the
exactly,
pentagram
this pentagram have ability to clean the problem, not only with these interpretations that I made just now, but with the interpretation about the war and what's happened there. And if somebody watch my personal page in Facebook, Filipov astrolog, or Astro Filip in Facebook, with simple F, they may see that for the new moon before, I just said, when it's realized that one political leader, woman, or one famous woman will have big problem. I do not wish to say death, but this was the model. And what we see in this moon month, we see 3 events with women famous. One not so famous, but 2 very famous. First, the vice president of Argentina, which was president before, they tried to assassinate her directly into the face with gun. I have this video on my page. This happened, and I say this is only the beginning. And
yes, I remember reading that post. You said the new moon is square Mars. There will be
Uh,
some very difficult the whole month ahead. That
the exactly prognosis was connected with the fact that Uranus, Saturn, and Venus was in very problematic situation just into the new moon. And if you slide to my Facebook page and profile, you will see the prognosis and realization. And I just say, after the trial for assassination of Argentinian president, one very famous woman, I forget the name. I say this is only the beginning. And what's happened after several days? The Queen Elizabeth died. Okay, and what's happened into the end of the moon cycle? This amazingly beautiful woman in Persia was killed, and immediately the riots all over the world happening. I see the news what's happening in all over the world, and this is just full riots. They should happen because this is not possible in modern humankind. One how to say fanatic people to realize one divine impulse of Mohammed by absolute wrong way, and especially toward womanhood, which is the life of humankind. And now we see in this new moon another super powerful moment, the practically the super close position exactly in the new moon, exactly in the position of the sun, moon, and connection between Mercury and Venus. This will form huge events in this new moon, dear Lada. And I promise to all my followers to describe the astrological lines, which is very problematic in this period of time for Europe. But today or tomorrow, I will publish the information for all over the world. And especially here, the red lines that you see are very dangerous for earthquakes, for big problematic situations on political level. And you may see that here, this line, which is the Pluto line, crossing the sun, moon, and other lines. And this crossing happening exactly where the most difficult fightings happen now. And these symbols here are the atomic stations of Ukraine, and especially this Zaporozhye atomic station. And if these things are endangered, only one of them, the Europe will be gone. There will be no life in Europe. And if several of them are endangered, the whole northern hemisphere will be in big problem. That's why we live in very difficult month. And I ask all people that listen this seminar to pray for peace, to pray about saving the nature, and to realize the divine ideas for development of humankind in our life. And with these ideas, Lada, I wish to say to you that I hope we work together much better for esoteric high level of astrology, and we may combine our work together about working for new level of teaching of esoteric astrology. And if you wish, we work together because we are in one and the same school, the school of Master Petronov.
Thank you so much, Filip. Again, so enlightening. I think I can listen to you all the time.
Yes,
I
I
learned
give
not just astrology, but esoteric history.
here. If you go to my Facebook page and you translate this post, you will see much deeper explanation what's happening now. But it is not possible to explain everything in one interview, in one webinar.
Thank you so much, Filip. I'm looking forward to more updates from you more often to start showing you, because people have been asking me from the previous 1-2 interviews that we did. They've been constantly asking me, when are you coming back? So thank you so much. And let's all pray that this Jupiter being so close will protect us in this very dangerous situation we're in.
Yes. Into the end, I show now the software, astrament.com. You may see this software in English when you click here on the flag. Please use laptops or computers, not telephones, because the telephones are too small for powerful software.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come here in English, everything is professionally translated, and you may get thousands of pages, interpretations of primary directions, thousands of pages in English for primary directions, for the method of primary directions of Hermes, which is for the first time representing to the world. You may come here. You may open the space for work much better. And when you go to 3D, you have this button. If you press this button, you will enter freely in your three-dimensional horoscope. Or if you press this blue icon, you may press it and you enter in your three-dimensional horoscope. But of course, there should be some registration here where you should put your data to see your horoscope. And let we represent three-dimensional horoscope now, how it's working freely. If we click just there, you will see three-dimensional horoscope for now moment. If you put some data, you may see the three-dimensional horoscope for this data. You may change immediately. This is happening freely. And when the horoscope is calculated, everything is put, and this movement here on the top is finishing like a lines. You may entering into three-dimensional horoscope, and you may watch and research everything that's happened into your horoscope or in some other horoscope, and this is totally free. And the most important, with three most powerful ancient tradition of astrology: ancient classical tradition, Egypt concept, and Sumerian concept, which is unbelievable important for the development of esoteric astrology. This is free from the esoteric tradition of Master Peter Dunov on astrological level for all people of humankind which wish to practice the divine science of humankind, astrology.
Thank you very much, Filip. Fascinating. I'll be browsing through it soon.
Yes.
I've already been doing it. So thank you for all your work and contribution to astrology and for this very positive message. And looking forward to having you again and to collaborate further. Thank you,
We will do
everyone,
this
for joining
definitely.
us. Perfect. Bye bye.
Bye bye.